The Camping Trip. Learn English through horror stories. A2B1. Part 1. The forest was already dark when Emma noticed the first strange thing. There were no sounds. Just an hour earlier, birds had been singing above the trees. Insects had buzzed near the lake. The wind had moved softly through the branches. Now, everything had gone silent. Emma looked around the campsite and frowned. "Do you hear that?" she asked. Jake looked up from the campfire. "Hear what?" "Exactly," Emma replied. "I don't hear anything." Mia stopped unpacking the food and listened carefully. She was right. The silence felt heavy. Leo laughed and tried to lighten the mood. "Come on, we drove 2 hours to get here. Let's enjoy ourselves." For a moment, everyone agreed. They talked about school, future plans, and funny memories from childhood. Slowly, the uncomfortable feeling disappeared. At least, that was what they thought. Then, from somewhere deep in the forest, they heard a sound. It was soft, very soft, like someone whispering. Nobody moved. "What was that?" Mia asked quietly. Jake stared into the darkness. "I don't know." The whisper came again. Then it stopped. None of them knew that this was only the beginning of the longest night of their lives. Part 2. The Old Man's Warning. After dinner, the campfire burned lower. The sky above Pine Lake filled with stars. Under different circumstances, it would have been a perfect evening. Leo stretched his arms and yawned. "I think you're all imagining things." Emma looked toward the trees. "Maybe." Jake hesitated before speaking. "There is something I forgot to mention." Mia turned toward him immediately. "What?" "When I stopped at a gas station before coming here, an old man asked where we were going." "And?" asked Leo. "He said people in this area avoid the forest after midnight." Emma raised an eyebrow. "Why?" He didn't explain much. Jake poked the fire with a stick. He only said one thing. The flames crackled softly. "If you hear someone calling your name from the trees, don't answer." Leo burst out laughing. "That's the oldest ghost story in the world." Mia didn't laugh. What if he believed it? Jake shrugged. He was probably trying to scare tourists. Emma tried to smile. "Then let's promise something." "What?" Mia asked. "If anyone hears strange voices tonight, we stay together." Everyone agreed. It seemed like a silly promise, a childish promise. None of them expected they would soon depend on it. Part 3. Voices in the Dark. The fire eventually died down. One by one they entered their tents. Emma closed her eyes, hoping to sleep. Outside, the wind brushed against the fabric. Minutes passed, then an hour. Sleep refused to come. Emma turned onto her side. That was when she heard it. Her name, soft and clear. Emma. She opened her eyes immediately. Had she been dreaming? She held her breath. Silence. Then it came again. Emma. The voice sounded familiar, warm, gentle. It sounded exactly like her mother. Emma sat up. Her mother was hundreds of kilometers away. She slowly unzipped the tent.
Outside, moonlight covered the campsite. Everything looked normal. Then another tent opened. Mia stepped outside. "You heard it too," Mia whispered. Emma nodded. "My name." Mia's face had gone pale. "I heard mine." A third tent opened. Jake stared at them. "You too?" Nobody laughed this time. Nobody tried to explain it away. Then, from the darkness beyond the trees, another voice drifted toward them. "Leo." The four friends froze.
Part 4. The voice asking for help. The voice spoke again. "Leo." Leo's confident smile disappeared. He stared toward the forest. "Who's there?" Jake immediately grabbed his arm. "Don't answer!" The old man's warning returned to everyone's minds. If you hear someone calling your name from the trees, don't answer. Leo swallowed hard. "It sounded like my brother." Mia stepped closer to the campfire. "Maybe someone is playing a prank." At that exact moment, another voice echoed through the darkness. "Help me." Emma covered her mouth. Someone sounded frightened. Someone sounded hurt. "We can't ignore that," Emma said. Jake shook his head. "No. What if someone is in danger?" Jake looked toward the trees. What if nobody is there? The voice returned, closer now. "Please help me." Mia's eyes filled with fear. It sounded real, too real. Leo took a flashlight. "I'm going to check." But Jake blocked his path. "No." Leo tightened his grip on the flashlight. "If someone needs help, I can't stay here." Without another word, he walked toward the trees. The darkness swallowed him. The others waited. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 5. The forest remained silent. Leo did not return. Part 5. Into the woods. Emma stood up first. "We have to find him." Jake hesitated. "We should stay here. What if he's hurt?" Mia looked close to tears. "He wouldn't just disappear." Finally, Jake nodded. "Fine, but we stay together." The 3 friends picked up their flashlights and entered the forest. The temperature dropped immediately. Moonlight barely reached the ground beneath the thick branches. Every shadow looked alive. "Leo?" Emma called softly. No answer. They continued walking. Twigs snapped beneath their feet. The smell of damp earth filled the air. Then Jake stopped. His flashlight revealed something on the ground. Leo's flashlight, still turned on. Emma picked it up. "Leo?" Nothing. No footprints. No signs of struggle. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Mia wrapped her arms around herself. "I want to go back." Then, from somewhere ahead, Leo's voice echoed through the trees. "Guys!" Emma looked up immediately. "Leo!" Jake grabbed her wrist. "Don't!" "But that's him!" Jake stared into the darkness. "How can you be sure?" Part 6. Lost among the trees. The voice called again. "Emma, Jake, Mia." It sounded exactly like Leo.
Yet something felt wrong. The pauses were strange. The tone was almost perfect. Almost. Mia began to cry softly. "I don't understand." Jake's hands trembled. "We're leaving." He turned around. The others followed. But after several minutes of walking, they stopped. The campsite was gone. "This isn't possible," Emma whispered. "We came from this direction." Jake shined his flashlight around. Every tree looked the same. Every path seemed unfamiliar. "We're lost," Mia said. Nobody wanted to admit it, but she was right. A cold breeze moved through the forest. Then dozens of whispers drifted between the trees. Some sounded near, others sounded far away. All of them repeated the same thing. Their names: Emma, Jake, Mia, again and again. The forest knew exactly who they were.
Part 7. The Warning Sign. As they searched for a way out, Jake noticed something nailed to a tree. An old wooden sign. The words had faded over time. He brushed away dirt with his sleeve. A warning appeared beneath the dust. "Do not follow the voices. Do not answer them. Leave before sunrise." Emma's heart raced. Who wrote this? Below the message were campers' clippings protected beneath cracked plastic. Several campers had disappeared near Pine Lake over many years. No explanation had ever been found. Mia stared at the dates. They were our age. Nobody spoke. Then Leo's voice echoed once more, closer than ever. "I'm over here." Emma squeezed her eyes shut. "No." Jake nodded. "That's not Leo." The voice became desperate. "Please, I'm scared." Mia nearly stepped forward. Emma pulled her back. "We stay together." The forest suddenly grew silent. Too silent. Then branches snapped nearby. Something was moving between the trees. Something large. Something watching them. Part 8. The Figure Between the Pines. The figure stood several meters away. Tall, thin, motionless. Moonlight barely touched its shape. Emma couldn't see its face. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Jake raised his flashlight. The beam landed between the trees. The figure disappeared. Mia gasped. "Did you see that?" Before anyone could answer, footsteps echoed behind them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Slow, steady. The three friends ran. Branches scratched their arms. Roots caught their feet. Behind them the footsteps continued. Never faster, never slower, always following. Emma's lungs burned. "I can't keep running!" Then she heard water. The lake! Jake looked ahead. "If we find the lake, we can find the road." They changed direction. The sound of water grew louder. The footsteps stopped. For the first time in hours, the forest fell quiet, almost as if it had decided to let them go. Part 9. Escape Before Sunrise.
Moonlight reflected across Pine Lake. The sight filled them with hope. "We made it," Mia whispered. The campsite stood nearby, exactly where they had left it. Their tents remained untouched. Their bags were still there. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Jake grabbed the car keys. Emma packed only the essentials. Mia climbed into the back seat. Jake inserted the key into the ignition. Nothing happened. "No," he whispered. He tried again. The engine coughed, then stopped. From the forest behind them came a familiar voice. "Don't leave." Emma froze. Another voice joined it, then another. Soon dozens of voices filled the darkness. "Stay! Come back! We're lonely!" Mia covered her ears. Tears streamed down her face. Jake turned the key one final time. The engine started. At that exact moment, every voice stopped. Complete silence returned. Jake pressed the accelerator. The car sped away from Pine Lake without looking back.
Part 10. The Friend Who Never Existed. Dawn painted the sky pale orange as they reached the nearest town. Exhausted and shaken, they entered a small cafe. An elderly waitress noticed their frightened expressions. "You kids look like you've seen a ghost," she said. Nobody laughed. Jake finally spoke. "We camped near Pine Lake." The woman's smile disappeared. "You stayed there overnight?" Emma nodded. The waitress glanced toward the window. Many people disappeared in those woods. Mia lowered her eyes. "What causes it?" The woman sighed. "No one knows." Silence settled over the table. Then Mia spoke softly. "What about Leo?" The waitress frowned. "Who?" "Our friend," Emma replied. "He came with us." Confusion crossed the woman's face. "You've been sitting here alone since you arrived." Emma stared at her. "No, there were 4 of us." Jake quickly opened his phone. His hands shook as he searched through the photographs from the trip. The drive to Pine Lake, the campsite, the campfire, the lake. Every picture showed only 3 people. Emma, Jake, Mia. Leo was gone. It was as if he had never existed. Mia began crying again. Jake whispered, "That's impossible." Emma scrolled through every image, every video. Nothing. Outside the cafe, the morning wind moved gently through the trees. Then Emma's phone vibrated. A new voice message had appeared. Unknown sender. Duration, 5 seconds. With trembling fingers she pressed play. Static filled the speaker. Then a familiar voice whispered softly, "Why did you leave me behind?" The message ended. Emma looked at Jake and Mia. None of them spoke. Far beyond the town, hidden deep within the pine forest, the wind moved through the trees, and if someone had been standing beside Pine Lake that morning, listening carefully to the whispers drifting through the woods, they might have heard a gentle voice calling from the darkness, "Come back!" The forest was waiting, and it had not forgotten their names.